Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Friday, March 6th, 2020. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr., and joining me is Imran, the Don Khan.
Video games.
Video games.
Video games.
Video games. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
That was people who are just. I guess everybody's just coming in because nobody
Yes.
could listen to prior to the show. But we made a new theme to the show.
Yes.
That might be debuting soon. You with me, Barrett? They can't stop us.
Yeah. You're on the one now, so you have
I'm
to
on the
actually
one?
do it. Yeah.
Video games, video games. That's the new theme.
I
So
like it.
dub that over the intro. Somebody out there make that and then tweet it to me, and then we're gonna make that the new Kinda Funny Games Daily.
Hashtag
intro.
make that the theme.
Imran, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
And I'm also doing good, and I think that's because last night I had a good cry. You ever have like one of those good cries?
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I almost did last night.
Really?
I had to fight back the tears a little bit.
We both watched Onward,
Yes.
the new Pixar movie featuring Tom Holland and
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
Chris
Yeah, I was
Pratt
gonna
doing
call him
his
Star-Lord.
best Jack Black.
He was doing his best Jack Black. The whole time I was like, is this really Chris Pratt or is this Jack Black? Because legit, he was spot on with it.
Yes.
How'd you like the movie?
So, I think I differ a little bit in that I felt nothing about the vast majority of that movie. Like, I was just sitting there like, it wasn't bad, it wasn't great, it was just kind of like, all right, this is a way to pass some time. But the last 20 minutes, I was like fighting back tears, like actively like, if I ugly cry in this theater, it's going to send a message to the rest of the world.
No, it was one of those things where I thought the movie was like really great. I actually really enjoyed it, but it was also one of those things where I haven't seen a Pixar movie in a long time. Like I think I trace back in the last Pixar movie I've seen in the last 5 years, or I guess the only Pixar movie I've seen in the last 5 years would have been The Incredibles 2, and I slept through like half The Incredibles 2.
What?
I was very tired. I'm very tired when I go to the movies. It's just the thing.
I'm
it's just-
disappointed, Bless.
I'm tired all the time.
You
though.
need to give more respect to the
It was a great
Incredibles.
movie. No, what I was awake for was incredible.
Okay.
It was The
Incredible
Incredibles too. But going into Onward, it just been a while since I've seen a Pixar movie, and it was one of those things where I forgot the quality that these guys put into their movie. These guys and gals and everybody they
Wait.
put into their movies.
Hold on. Before we continue, does that timing mean you've never seen Coco?
No, I've never seen Coco.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, dude. It's hard for me to show up to see movies that aren't Marvel movies in theaters.
Belinda Garcia. Belinda, are you out there? Belinda, are you watching
Belinda
this?
knows. I was having this
Okay.
conversation with Belinda last night. I was like, I don't think I've seen. I thought I had not seen a Marvel.
This is a failure
Pixar
on Belinda's
movie.
part
Oh,
for
I
not
mean,
making you watch Coco.
I've only been here for 3 months. at
That's
this point.
3 months longer than it should have
That's true.
taken.
I'm down to watch Coco.
We
can
should watch
all we can
Coco.
all watch Coco.
We're gonna be crying. If you thought you cried during Onward, Coco is much
Yeah,
more
Coco will
cry-worthy.
fucking wreck you.
yeah.
Yeah.
The ending
like,
of Onward.
The themes and like the message and the story of Onward is essentially Coco but watered down. Like Coco does it way more intense.
I hate
and
my
it's like
Coco
way
watered down.
more. It's like way more intense of like what those kind of like
Okay.
family themes are. It's it hits hard.
Gotcha.
I'm just
What a
saying.
movie though.
yeah, it was.
really enjoyed it.
At the end of the thing, I was like, because the entire time I was thinking like, yeah, this is just whatever. At the end of it, I'm like, yeah, I'd recommend people watch that.
It comes together like very nice.
Yeah,
of course. Like,
coalesces
no
well.
no spoilers, but like that movie, I would definitely recommend people like go check out.
Yeah.
Especially if you like Pixar movies. Especially if you like Pixar movies. But today, we're not talking about Pixar movies.
We should be,
Today's
though.
stories include Resident Evil 3 getting scarier, an uptick in remote work, and more, because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindafunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames or listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kinda Funny Games Daily. To be a part of the show, head to patreon.com/kindafunnygames, where bronze members or above get to write in, and silver members or above get the show ad free. Bear, were you gonna say something?
Really quick, I don't think we've really addressed this the last couple of days, but YouTube has been weird.
Yeah, YouTube
so-
has been messing with us.
Yeah,
So
like the Pete Hines interview that went up yesterday, it is technically live, but YouTube on the back end doesn't see it as live. So like in our back end, it still says, oh, it's still processing, but the link works.
Yeah.
But because YouTube doesn't see it as like fully processed, it's not on our page. It's not like filling up
It's
feeds
not like
or
the
anything.
subscription
But
feeds
the
or
link
anything.
does work. So YouTube's being
does
weird.
it work on both mobile and desktop?
No, I like Greg was having trouble watching that interview on mobile, but I could see it on desktop. So,
weird.
YouTube's having some problems. I'm trying to figure out some fix-arounds. I think I have an experimental idea that we'll do after Games Daily with Cool Greg to see if we can have a workaround. But we're sorry about that. But
yeah, and that's something that we really don't have much control over. Like that is YouTube processing being weird.
Yeah.
It's not like it's taking forever to download. It's our internet. It's not that. It's literally the shows are uploaded, but they're in processing hell for whatever reason on YouTube side.
It's been really weird the last couple. Like it logged me out for some reason. That's never happened in like the last 5 years.
Yeah. And I think I've heard, have other people been having issues, like other channels been having issues? Because I thought I heard a
lot of people like didn't see like when you go to your subscriber feed. There's a lot of people talking about like, oh, like my feed is empty. That doesn't make sense and stuff like that. So yeah, I think YouTube's dealing with a lot of weird issues right now. So we're trying to work on a workaround. I'm gonna experiment a little bit today to see.
Audio versions are still available though, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're missing out on Kind of Funny Games Daily on YouTube, then look on Spotify. It's
you can't
there.
see this anyway.
Yeah, you can't see this anyway. And so hello from tomorrow, I guess. Now it's time for some housekeeping. We're hosting and producing a debut stream for the game Core on Thursday, March 19th at 3 p.m. Pacific time. You can tune in to twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames to see the devs from Manticore Games join Greg as they build multiplayer games live in Core and invite you to play. Think Dreams feels used to make capture the flag games and death matches in seconds. You can follow at Core Games on Twitter for details and catch their write-up on The Verge live right now. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Mohammed, Momo, Drew Garnet Fructis, Blackjack, and the Kind of Funny Destiny 2 PC clan. Today, we're brought to you by kindoffunny.com/Patreon, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We got 7 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
And don't get too excited, Barrett, because most of them have to do with coronavirus. But here's the thing. I started doing this yesterday. I've now sectioned off all the coronavirus stories to the latter half of the Roper Report. And so once we get there, I will say, hey, we're ending the coronavirus section of the show. Okay. And so that way, if you really are over it and really don't want to hear more about coronavirus, you can skip forward. But the news is the news. I can't really do anything about the news that comes in, and all of it is relevant and pertinent, and most of it is actually like really important for the industry, so I can't just skip over it. And so there you go. Coronavirus is kind of dominating the news today, but you'll hear more about that later. Number 1, Resident Evil 3's Nemesis just got a whole lot scarier. This is from Hiram Cryer at US Gamer. In Resident Evil 3, not even the safe rooms can save you from Nemesis. A first for the series, the hulking Nemesis will be able to break into safe rooms when pursuing Jill Valentine. As if the tyrant wasn't already terrifying enough, the latest issue of official Xbox Magazine has an interview with Resident Evil 3 producer Peter Fabiano, in which the producer reveals that yes, Nemesis will actually pursue protagonist Jill Valentine into a safe room. It sounds like if you're being pursued by Nemesis, you'll have to break his line of sight before ducking out into a safe room. If you just head into a safe room while the tyrant's pursuing you, he'll burst through the door to confront you. Please, Capcom, have mercy. This is a stark contrast to Resident Evil 2's Mr. X. The tyrant from 2019's reimagining of Resident Evil 2 could never enter safe rooms, and as soon as either Leon Kennedy or Claire Redfield entered a safe room, Mr. X would despawn and start from another location. Now, Imran, you've played Resident Evil 3.
I have.
You played a preview. You haven't played the whole game, but you've previewed Resident Evil 3. Did you have any experience with this at all?
It makes sense when I heard that of like, oh yeah, he is not a slowly walking around stalking you kind of type. He actively pursues you. If you're running away from him, he will get in your way. So it makes sense that if you're trying to duck into a room, even a safe room, he will just follow you inside there, because why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
It always was weird in Resident Evil 2. You've played that, right?
Yeah, Resident Evil 2, yeah.
Yeah. When you like go into the STARS office, for example, that's one of the rooms that, because it's story important, Mr. X couldn't follow you into. So like that you would just get into this room that literally just a wooden door that this giant hulking brute would just stand outside and be like, oh,
yeah,
I can't get in.
Yeah, Nemesis, we were talking about this on our first impressions for RE3, right? It's more active, more fast, more action-y, right? And the whole game of Resident Evil 3 is more action-y. Would you say, which would you say is the scarier game, it seems like, from where you're at, from what you played at of RE3 so far?
I mean, RE2 definitely has like a more creeping kind of scare. Like you're kind of worried about, not necessarily the moment-to-moment stuff, but like just sort of gently walking down, like a kind of Soulsian vibe to it, really. Of the scare factor is in the fact that nothing is happening. With Resident Evil 3, even though I knew Nemesis was coming and I knew he was chasing me, I still leapt up in like my seat occasionally. Yeah, of being like just how fast he would come out there and like kick your ass.
Mr. X for me was the scariest part of Resident Evil 2. Like Mr. X, I could handle the game for the most part. Like I still, building up to where you start seeing Mr. X and stuff, I I'd be on edge, right? You'd open a door, see zombies, see people crawling on the ground, see like the lickers, the guys on the ceiling that would then drop down on you. Like all that stuff was scary to me, but it went over a point when Mr. X was introduced. Like that was the moment where I was like, oh shoot, man, now this game is like really scary. So the idea that Nemesis is even breaking into safe rooms and is more like capable than Mr. X terrifies me.
Well, from a design perspective, it makes sense. These are games based on the idea that you have limited ammo, but if you do use ammo, you'll have to use a little bit of it, but it will still kill whatever's in front of you. So the enemy of Resident Evil is wasting resources.
Yeah.
So here's a guy in which even the most resources you throw at it is not going to kill him. And that's what makes him exceptionally scary. That's from a design perspective.
Yeah.
Makes you have to make harder choices.
Lee Pollero writes in and says, hello, KFGD. It was just announced that Nemesis will be able to break into any safe room in RE3 Remake. Fuck that. What are your thoughts on this? As someone who didn't play the original, how will this compare to it? Does this make the game too difficult? Thank you for keeping me sane at work, Lee Pollero.
No, I don't think it's too difficult. At the section I played, there was a save point right before I fought Nemesis. And also, I want to say that you don't actually get sent back to save points. You get sent back to checkpoints.
Okay.
So if you do get killed by Nemesis, you're not going to go back to like 3 hours before when you forgot to save. I might be wrong on that completely. Somebody can correct me or somebody can check previews and correct me. But it's not a huge deal that he can follow you into safe rooms unless like they simply design it to be a deal of, hey, you need to break Nemesis' sight, otherwise you're screwed. Yeah. Which I assume is going to be a section or two like that.
And you have like a dodge roll, right? You have more abilities to kind of handle with that faster pace and that kind of heightened sense of action. Yeah. And so I think that kind of makes up for what that difficulty can kind of be perceived to be compared to RE2, where you feel slower. I don't know what the health bar situation is in RE3 compared to RE2, but like in RE2 you can take like what 2 or 3 hits before you're.
This is about that,
done.
yeah.
Oh, is this like the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm really excited for RE3.
We're only a month out.
We're so close. There are a lot of games that are about to come out.
Yes.
Like Ori is coming out next week. Like we're a week away from Ori. We're a few weeks away from like a million games. Yeah. And so we're in an exciting place right now, and I can't wait for it.
I was thinking the other day, like, God, it's so slow these days. Like nothing's coming out.
Oh yeah.
And then like in a couple of weeks, it's gonna be bang, bang, bang.
Well, that was my thing. That's why I started Dying Light and I bought Need for Speed Heat, and I've been playing through Bloodborne in all these games because it's kind of been a slow period. And I specifically bought Dying Light because I was like, man, Bloodborne is stressful. I gotta play something less stressful. Let me play Dying Light, a horror game with zombies that get scarier in the nighttime. And I've been playing through that just because I'm like kind of trying to gear up and kind of get that out of me before all these releases start hitting, and I'll have to play those games. And so it's about to be a fun time. Yeah. I can't wait for it.
One of the good things about Dying Light, though, is they added that story difficulty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where you can literally, like, I don't want to worry too much about this. I just want to have or experience the main campaign, the story. Like, I feel like more games should do that, even if I never avail myself of it. Yeah. Just like, okay, I don't have time for this. I don't want to, like, bang my head against the game right now. I just want to experience it for right this second.
Did you like Dying Light when you played it?
I liked the original. I like what I saw of 2 a lot more.
Okay.
Because, like, I think the stuff that bothered me was I didn't like the protagonist at all. And that once you don't like the protagonist, most of the game kind of grates on you. Yeah. And 2, I think I saw the seams a bit too much. Like, the very first time you had to run from the vampire zombies or whatever they're actually called.
Yeah, the fast ones.
Yeah. At night, and, like, I ended up just crossing a threshold. And the zombie just stopped, like, right at the threshold. I'm like, oh. That's dumb. Yeah. Why is he not just continuing to follow me? And I get it. Like you can't really design the game like Resident Evil 3 of the zombie just follows you forever because then you would never have any peace. Yeah. But I wish it was a little less obvious.
Yeah, there are certain... And I wanted to say my impressions for Dying Light until PSLV XOXO because we are recording this Monday. Stay tuned for that.
Greg's coming back, I guess.
Greg's coming back because there's news.
But if he stays gone, then more news will happen.
And that's the issue. Oh, you know what? That's actually a good point. If he stays gone,
yeah, we will get.
Greg.
Will we get that PS5 reveal event? Greg, stay in Canada.
Okay, if you do that though, if you do lean into that, you need to have like a logo treatment of the Days Gone thing. It just says stays gone.
Greg stays gone.
Yes,
that'd be beautiful. But yeah, one of my things with Dying Light is that like you're saying, you do kind of see the seams, and I'm having that a lot. And it's like seeing seams, I don't think is inherently bad because playing Bloodborne right now, I can see some of the seams, right? Yes. Like characters will stay in a place until you walk to them, like until you get close to them, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I see you now. But that kind of plays into the game design of the game, and
Yeah.
that kind of helps you to kind of get into that flow of gameplay and be like, okay, cool. How do I strategically enter this combat scenario?
I feel like From Software games show you seams so you can cut at them.
Yes,
Dying
exactly.
Light shows you seams and you're like,
It's like I would
have been fine
You
if you
guys would have
didn't-
wanted this to be better
Yeah.
if you guys had more budget or more time or whatever it would have been.
Yeah.
Number 2, I Am 8-Bit resigns as E3 2020 creative director. This comes from Rebecca Valentine of GamesIndustry.biz. Also, shout out to GamesIndustry.biz. They have most of the news stories on this show. They've been doing great work, and so shout out. Thank you guys so much for doing great work. The article reads, production and merchandise company I Am 8-Bit has resigned its role as creative director of the Electronic Software Association's E3 2020 showcase. Quote, it's with mixed emotions that I Am 8-Bit has decided to resign as creative directors of what was to be an evolutionary E3 2020 floor experience, reads a tweet from the official I Am 8-Bit account announcing its departure from the show. They continue, we produced hundreds of gaming plus community events, and it was a dream to be involved with E3. We wish the organizers the best of luck. I Am 8-Bit was announced as E3 2020 collaborator back in January, with the ESA saying the company had signed on to, quote, reinvigorate the show and, frankly, to shake things up, end quote. That same announcement mentioned new planned additions to the E3 show floor, such as stage experiences, insider access, and experiential zones. More details as to what these entail have not yet been revealed, though tickets had already gone on sale. As an update, the ESA has responded to GamesIndustry.biz with a statement as follows, quote, we can confirm that I Am 8-Bit is no longer part of the interagency group working on E3 2020. We greatly value their passion for the video game industry and the contributions they brought toward our vision for this year's show. We have an innovative and experienced team in place, including Endeavor's creative agency, 160over90, Event Innovators, Matt plus Low, and longtime E3 partners, GES, Dolaire Events, and Double Forte, one of those two, all collaborating to bring to life an exciting and authentic experience for fans, the media, and the industry. Imran, the fuck is happening?
I don't know. Like, I saw that, I Am 8-Bit, you haven't been to E3 before, have you?
No, I'm not.
So what they usually do is they have a lobby with, like, just, fan art is a little dismissive, but basically, like, concept art from actual official games and, like, artists who do, like, art of games themselves, like, so this is a famous artist that drew Mario or whatever. And they put that up in the E3 lobby, and it's a cool thing to walk through as you, like, go to your booth or whatever. This year, they're planning to be a lot more, like, expand that lobby concept out, put it through a thing that people can actually experience and tour and, like, enjoy a bit more. And they got labeled as, like, creative directors, which is a big step up from just a partner. That the fact that they left, it's concerning to me. The fact that they put out a message that, so what was the exact phrasing? It's with mixed emotions that I Am 8-Bit has decided to resign. The phrase mixed emotions is doing a lot of blame pointing there.
Yeah.
Of, like, that's saying that we didn't want to leave, but it sounds like it's a big shit show right now.
Midnight Owl writes in and says, hey guys, merchandise and event production company I Am 8-Bit has resigned from its position as creative director, quote, with mixed emotions, as revealed in a tweet, but the reason why hasn't been given. I have a few questions, but I wondered if you could explain in more detail what this job post was. I think a lot of us will see the title and think of it like a game studio's creative director, but I'm sure that this probably is not the case. Then, do you think they were fired or quit? Personally, I think fired. Don't know why, but I just have the feeling that I Am 8-Bit was probably pushing back against some of the ideas the ESA wanted for E3 this year, or couldn't find a solution for them, and they were forced to leave. And then lastly, what do you think this means for E3? I don't think this will be the last one we see, but by next year, I can see them limping into June. Thanks for everything you guys do. Blessings to all. Midnight Owl. So there's a lot in there. But let's start with the first question. Do you think they were fired or quit?
I think they quit. I think, however, that this message combined with Jeff Keighley's post on February 12th, his tweet, when he said he was leaving E3, someone asked him what fueled your decision not to participate, and he replied, a ton of factors. I just don't really feel comfortable participating given what I know about the show as of today.
Wow.
So that tweet combined with I Am 8-Bit's thing now,
which has a similar tone.
Yeah, it has a narrative,
which
like,
is weird because
they're doing some shit.
E3, to response to Jeff Keighley leaving, I want to say it was like the next day where E3 was like, oh yeah, we're sad to see Jeff Keighley go. I don't know if they said that, but like they were basically saying that like, hey, we'll still be doing stuff at E3, or E3 is still happening. We have I Am 8-Bit that we're we're partnered with all this stuff, right? Like they specifically mentioned I Am 8-Bit as, I think they said the creative directors, whatever it is. Like that was their response to Jeff Keighley leaving. And so now for I Am 8-Bit to be pulling out, what's going on? Why is that happening?
I've been racking my brain the last day trying to figure out like what could they possibly be doing, because it would not be something so simple and benign as, they're making it more influencer, celebrity focused or whatever, because like that sucks a little bit for like press and consumers, I guess. But it wouldn't make them run for the hills. It wouldn't make the other partners run for the hills. I mean,
pull out, yeah.
Yeah, it would. Like Jeff Keighley, regardless of what you think of him, he knows how to put on a show.
Oh yeah.
And if he is saying, if they're telling him like influencers and celebrities, he'd be like, yeah, okay, I'm okay with that. He pulled out completely from E3, which I don't know if people know this. It's like a little backroom or how the sausage is made kind of thing. But Jeff Keighley also runs Judges Week. So pre-E3, I think they call it these days. Yeah. So he's the one who gets us in like coming to Santa Monica for a week, play all these games, decide on what we, make the calls for
like
best game of
awards.
E3 and all that.
Yeah.
He's not doing that this year. He's not even involved with pre-E3 Judges Week. If E3 was just doing a lame show, then he wouldn't pull out to that extent. So there's some other shoe to drop. Are we ever going to know what that is? Are they going to backpedal on that idea?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I really want to know what's the thing that's making people scared, because I think that you could make the leap that maybe it's coronavirus concerns. Maybe it's that, but that I don't.
No,
that wouldn't be it, right? Like that wouldn't necessarily
too
make sense
early
for them.
that.
Yeah,
like,
it's too early. The event is still as a whole going on,
and
how
also
much
they just say it. Like
yeah.
they would just say, everyone has been saying coronavirus for everything the last couple of days.
Yeah, like people are not scared to state that as reason.
Yeah,
and then also what does I Am 8-Bit have to lose? By going forward.
Them specifically saying like the vague with mixed feelings thing, and not just outright saying coronavirus, like definitely feels like there's something else going on in the back end that is making people, like Keighley said, uncomfortable, I think.
There was a quote from Sony when they pulled out. We have a great respect for the ESA as an organization, but we do not feel the vision of E3 2020 is the right venue for what we are focused on this year. And people assumed that was just, like esports celebrity bullshit, whatever.
Yeah. I assumed that was just PlayStation wanting to just have their own voice or like do their own thing.
But it does sound like straight up there is a vision ESA has for E3 2020.
But that's just going to be dynamically different from E3 2019. Like I couldn't imagine what that would be though.
I honestly don't know.
Is it them like shifting more toward it being more like PAX as opposed to like the show that it has been in the past? Like,
but even like
that's already been happening.
Yeah,
people not like I don't know what the issue would be with that.
It would have to be such a dramatic move. Like literally, I cannot think of it. I cannot think of what they could possibly do that would freak people out this much. I mean, granted, we also just don't know if E3 is going to happen. Like,
and do you think it could be like some of E3's fuck ups lately?
I mean, I think it's part of it.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the
like
reasons.
The leaks and like it's just been like a lot of leaks actually.
Keighley was really pissed about the press leak, and they eventually just didn't.
And they didn't make up for it in a way that felt.
They're like, we're gonna take care of it this year, and like they didn't really.
Yeah, like they. Let's see here. Oh, Jeff Keighley has a tweet. There will be a Games Critics Week this year, but not related to E3.
Okay, but
shout out to the chat who sent this link.
Yeah, so he's pulled out from associating it with E3, which is still strange, but it still seems like
it still says something.
Yeah.
What a time we live in. What do you think this means for E3?
I think it's already been E3 has had a problem the last couple of years serving partners, press, and consumers all at the same time. This sounds like they're still having that problem. If that continues, if it's like people start dropping out, let's say coronavirus is not a concern by June, but everyone is still kind of wary of E3, then it's bad for them. Let's say coronavirus is a concern by June and partners drop out of E3, but they still hold it, then people go to E3. It's like, well, this sucks. Why should we ever come back here again? And let's say that they do cancel E3, and then everyone holds their own Nintendo Direct style thing, and it turns out to work out really well for them. Then they're going to say, why would we ever go back to E3? They are really screwed in a lot of ways here.
Yeah. Midnight Owl says in their question here, right? I don't think this will be the last one we see, but by next year, I can see E3 limping into June. What are the chances that last year's E3 was the last E3 we might have seen?
Honestly,
because if this E3 gets canceled because of coronavirus, can they even return next year?
They will try. I don't think they're going to succeed. But when I was leaving the event hall last year, they have that banner up on the stairs that says, "See you next year at E3 June whatever to whatever."
Yeah.
Part of me was like, I wonder if they'll have that banner this year. Because the hall was just so empty that last day. Because, like, another day in LA that's not even a complete day and everyone's packing up and leaving and all that, like, that's expensive for a lot of consumers. Like, it only makes sense if, like, an outlet is paying for you to be there. I don't see, like, a path forward. I understand there's a lot of benefits to E3 still, even when they're still messing things up. But...
Are there a lot of... I feel like the only benefit really is having people in one place to demo games.
That's it. That's the benefit.
That's the only one. And
it's good for press. It's good for developers to have those like B2B meetings.
Yeah. Is that enough for E3 though?
No.
To like exist? Like if that becomes the one remaining thing for E3, people can do that in other places in other ways.
Yeah. If coronavirus is like taken care of by the time E3 rolls around, it's going to be good for it because GDC didn't happen. And GDC is probably not going to happen in summer. I know they said the postponement, but it's unlikely.
We'll see, yeah.
Yeah. So everyone's eyes are on E3 and they're on Gamescom. It's good for Jeff Keighley, who's a partner of Gamescom, to be more involved with that. But if E3 is not there, it's going to screw up a lot of people's plans. But there's a big opportunity for them to also be the biggest show of the summer. So we'll see if it works out that way for them.
We'll see. Number 3. Frictional Games reveals their horror sequel, Amnesia Rebirth. Oh, shit, man. Are you big into Amnesia, Barrett?
My friends and I in high school were like, that's what we would like get high to and like play until like 3 a.m. and just get fucking bugged out and weirded out and shit like that.
That game seems terrifying.
Amnesia is like, but it was one of those things though where it was like, once you saw the monster and like kind of like the jank and stuff like that, like you kind of got out of it. It's just in that moment you're like, fuck.
I included the link in the doc if you want to pull up the trailer for Amnesia Rebirth.
Yeah.
I'm reading this from PlayStation Blog, a post by Thomas Grip, the creative director.
He was a weird like turtle monster, right, or something like that. Like a weird.
No, or at least in the first one. I can pull it up.
Yeah,
it's hard to describe.
I think he was on the box art as well.
So Thomas Grip, the creative director, writes, "The year was 2009." I love how he opens this. "The year was 2009, and Frictional Games was in crisis. We were almost out of money, and it was running out fast. We had lots of ideas for innovative systems and puzzles, but they weren't working out. Rash decisions had to be made. Quote, screw innovation, let's just make the scariest game we possibly can, end quote. With this, Amnesia: The Dark Descent was born, and it took off beyond our wildest dreams. The game became a byword for narrative horror and is still a staple of Let's Plays and live streams today. Now, a decade later, we want to return to those roots. We want you to experience the thrills, chills, and creeping dread of the world of Amnesia in a brand new story. I'm proud to finally be able to reveal Amnesia Rebirth. What is Amnesia Rebirth? A new protagonist, a new setting, a new story, but built on what we learned from the original game. No gimmicks, no inventing something completely new. This is Amnesia. Amnesia Rebirth will be available later this year. So this is the trailer we're looking at right now. I haven't watched this trailer yet.
Whoa.
Me either.
First person, walking through some creepy environments. The world looks pretty beautiful. Like the textures and stuff are pretty detailed.
Good engine support has really helped horror games over the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, well, you don't need to like spend forever working on a texture. We just have shaders that'll make it look nice.
And that's the thing that makes it so upsetting that Silent Hills never came out, because PT looked beautiful.
I'm still pissed at them for teasing that and then like doing
Amnesia
like Kojima
Rebirth.
Production should know better than that.
Oh yeah, the tease on Twitter last week. Now, Imran, are you an Amnesia person at all?
I played the first one. I think I played a bit of the second one, but I didn't like it nearly as much.
Yeah,
Okay.
the second one wasn't.
That was like a different developer. It was Chinese Room. They made Machine for Pigs, but
Yeah.
it was fine. I liked the first one, like Barrett said, until you actually get a good look at the monster. Then it's like, oh yeah, this is not that
So
scary.
you just get used to it.
Yeah, but
Does this do anything for you?
yes and no. I think we've been so inundated with like indie horror games over the last 5 years that it's a different place now than it was when Amnesia first came out. Which is, I mean, that's unfair to Amnesia a little bit, but like, there's so many these days that you just take your pick. I am probably going to play it just because like nobody does. the description at least is very existential horror, and existential horror appeals to me a lot more than like they're just a monster following you around. But going by that trailer, I'm like, yeah, I could do that. I could definitely go for some creepy shit.
Barry, does this do anything for you?
I'm intrigued.
Okay.
Because it's definitely like it looks way more modern from the first one. Because the first one, it was like the 1800s or something like that, maybe earlier than that. But yeah, I don't know if I get
now.
This might be a good excuse for me to reunite with my high school friends. We get really high.
Call them up, be like, "Yo, you see that new Amnesia?
Let's go."
I forgot about the last one because it's Amnesia.
Just call it Amnesia. Get high.
God damn it!
See, that was the worst. That's the worst joke I'll ever make. Now, Barrett, follow-up question for you.
What's up?
Right? We all know here that on PS Love You XOXO, we have the fantasy draft that we have. I don't know if you've heard about this, Imran. We have a video game fantasy draft where we draft games based on their OpenCritic scores or what we think they'll score on OpenCritic. Do you guys think Amnesia Rebirth might be a poll for that? Should I look into it? Should I think about it?
It's over and under 70, right?
Yeah.
How you get or lose points.
Yeah. So under 70 on OpenCritic means I start losing points, but above 70 means I gain points. I just want a high Metacritic or high OpenCritic.
I think it'll do over 70.
Okay.
I think it.
So I won't lose
I
points.
think it would be a okay bet, but I don't think because you're gonna have to start using money to draft these.
Yeah.
Well, not real money, but like money in the fucking
in the fantasy draft. Yeah, makeup money.
And so I don't know if it'd be worth the bid. Personally,
Even like $1 though, because with the idea that nobody else is gonna bid on it this week.
But you gotta
But I
assume
don't
that
know that though.
like Greg Miller's not listening to this episode. You know, maybe he's already
He
on
probably
it.
is listening to this episode.
So maybe
now
you
he's
should-
probably
maybe
thinking about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
What was I? Was this a trick to get Greg to then bid $2 on Amnesia? Who knows?
I think it could be. I could see it if it's going back to the first one, learning from the first one in a new setting. I think it's a safe bet of seeing it around 80.
Okay. Yeah, and 80 would be a great poll. An 80 that's for sure out this year because they say it's coming out available later this year, and I believe them.
Can you look up Soma on OpenCritic, Barrett?
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
that's a great comparison. Because that was
our
Soma
last
would be
game.
a similar.
I
Sort of
I
deal.
recall Soma doing quite well, but maybe
People
it's
really
like,
liked Soma.
I need to play it, honestly. I think
I own
own
it.
it in like 3 systems. I haven't played it.
Yeah, I own it too, and I booted it up, and I was just like, no, what am I doing? I don't want to play a horror game.
That's the problem. Like, part of it is like I need to be in the right context
you
for
have
that.
to be in the right mood. It has to be October. Soma on OpenCritic, 83.
Yeah, I think it'd be safe with Amnesia.
Oh man, all right.
I'm gonna look up the first Amnesia.
Yeah, man. Now it's time for the coronavirus section.
Even though we've already
news.
talked about it.
Even though we talked about it a little bit, but now we're really diving deep into coronavirus. Which is
quarantine.
not the best way to phrase it, but you guys get what I mean. Is this an Amnesia game? Is Amnesia
No,
anime?
No.
It's
Okay,
not
that's
showing me
just
like
the wrong
Amnesia.
image.
Amnesia.
77
This is the collection.
for Amnesia the collection.
Yeah.
That One Punch Man is doing way better than it should be doing.
59.
That game's real bad.
It is.
Yes.
But it's not. It's like 59 sounds right though.
I guess. Like
It's bad, but it's not like
it's cool for the first time you like summon Saitama and like, okay, cool. It takes him a while and then he
Yeah.
wins. Then it's like, okay, what else is this game? And it's just that one moment.
it's
That's
not like
it.
an abomination though. It's like if you want a time waster at full price. That's what One Punch Man is.
That's
the video
your review of One Punch Man.
game. Yeah, a time waster at full price.
Yes.
Number 4, the TurboGrafx-16 Mini has been delayed after coronavirus shuts down production. This comes from Taylor Lyles at The Verge. The TurboGrafx-16 Mini, a retro revival of the classic Japanese gaming console originally set to be released on March 19th, has been delayed due to the coronavirus outbreak, Konami announced today. The miniature console, also known as the PC Engine Core Graphics Mini in Europe and the PC Engine Mini in Japan, includes more than 50 games from the 16-bit era, such as Bomberman 93 and Ys 1 and 2, built into the hardware. Konami said in a statement that the coronavirus outbreak led to an, quote, unavoidable suspension of the manufacturing and shipment of the consoles. Konami has yet to announce a new release date, however. The company said it is working on shipping the console out as soon as possible. Imran, were you looking forward to the TurboGrafx Mini? Because I feel like you
Not even a little.
No, you weren't a TurboGrafx person?
Not really.
I think I'm thinking of Jared Petty. Jared Petty would have been looking forward to the
He would have been.
TurboGrafx.
I think that like Rondo of Blood is the only thing I can think of off the top of my head. Like that era of consoles, I was not super into the niche stuff. I think. I remember Bonk. and Rondo of Blood. That's pretty much it.
No.
But I think I maybe would have tried this if I saw this in the store, I'd be like, hell yeah, maybe I'll give it a shot. But it's not shocking to me that everyone's taking delays from coronavirus stuff.
Does that say anything about the big consoles at all? Because this is
Yes.
the thing we've been talking about over and over and over again, and we talked about it to death, and nobody wants to talk about it anymore. But consoles are coming this holiday.
Mm-hmm.
We think they're coming. Does the TurboGrafx-16 Mini delay say anything about the big consoles?
It means manufacturing will slow down, if not completely go or halt, if they can't get it fixed by summer. It sounds like they're probably getting it fixed by summer. Like they're doing a lot of authoritarian shit to get it to, like.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
China's handling it. Probably not great from a human rights perspective, but they're handling it.
Scary.
But if it's not fixed by summer, I could definitely see the actual consoles being delayed into next year.
Okay. Scary thing. Or do you think they would just release it and just have shortages and just call it a day and have people not be able to buy consoles over the holiday?
I mean, that screws everyone over. Like, why would you launch a game with a console when
That's a
only
good point.
like 100,000 people can buy it?
That's a very good point.
But I feel like the main problem isn't necessarily the consoles, but like smaller things.
Mhm.
Like we can't manufacture CEs, so we're not going to release this game yet.
Mm-hmm.
We can't. I would not be shocked. I don't know this for a fact, but I would not be personally shocked if the reason we don't have brain training in America is because Nintendo can't manufacture styluses.
Oh.
Like it's that
Yeah.
level of granularity for things that we can't we have not gotten yet.
Yeah. Scary times we live in. Speaking of, number 5, Psyonix cancels Rocket League World Championship over coronavirus concerns. This comes from James Batchelor at GamesIndustry.biz. Again, GamesIndustry.biz putting in good work. Rocket League developer Psyonix has canceled next month's World Championship event, the latest gathering to be scrapped out of concerns over spread of novel coronavirus, otherwise known as COVID-19. The live event was due to take place at the Curtis Colwell Center in Dallas, Texas, from April 24th to 26th as part of the game's Season 9 esports activities, but the developer has scrapped this competition to protect the health and safety of its players, fans, and staff. In the announcement on the Rocket League esports website, the developer promised automatic refunds for both tickets and parking passes to anyone who purchased through edX or ETIX. Those who purchased tickets through third-party retailers must contact them directly to request a refund. So there you go. Number 6, Take-Two CEO says COVID-19 could spark long-term change in remote work. This is by Rebecca Valentine at GamesIndustry.biz. Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick isn't concerned that spread of novel coronavirus will hurt the overall gaming business, but he does believe the outbreak will force many companies to permanently rethink stances on remote work. Speaking at the Morgan Stanley Technology, Media, and Telecom conference today, Zelnick was asked about both the immediate effects of coronavirus outbreak on business and what he thought the long-term consequences would be. Zelnick responded that aside from the already announced delay of the Nintendo Switch version of The Outer Worlds due to the port studio's location in China, Take-Two remained unaffected by the situation. Quote, anytime people are sick or have tragically lost their lives, that's a more important topic than any of what we're covering today, he said. In terms of business continuity, we're not concerned. In terms of our consumer, we're not concerned. And we have the ability to work remotely if it comes down to that. And I don't believe it will, end quote. Later, he did concede that markets may take a real hit and things will slow down, but concluded that it will also pass, comparing the situation in the U.S. To regular flu outbreaks in terms of its effects on both individuals and businesses. Zelnick was then asked whether or not increased remote work would affect productivity. Quote, they're going to have to find a way to be just as productive at home, he said. Actually, I think one of the things that may come out of this is that, if it's as widespread as I believe it to be, one unexpected consequence is a lot of us who are skeptical about remote work are also going to be less skeptical about it.
That's actually so I was talking to a friend who was also on mandated remote work, and he's a game developer as well. Mm-hmm. And he was saying this actually is a problem because we're not prepared for this. We were never set up for remote work.
Yeah.
For example, let's say you have a Switch dev kit.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to use that dev kit at home to work on your game, but you can't because Nintendo's rules say
you can't bring
a dev kit home. Your dev kit has to be in a place that's like a locked office or security thing or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Or that's just the deal they made for that one. Indie developers have different things and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Or just you don't have enough dev kits to send home with every individual worker. So people just can't work on their games. They have to wait for someone to go into the office and compile it all.
Uh-huh.
Like, these are problems that just the game industry is not set up for, because the idea of a completely decentralized gaming development studio has not necessarily like taken root in the wider industry yet.
Let me tell you about Bungie, Imran. Number 7, COVID-19 Bungie activates remote work policy. This comes from Hayden Taylor at gamesindustry.biz. Destiny 2 developer Bungie has activated a global remote work policy for its staff in response to novel coronavirus threat. Based near Seattle, which currently has the highest infection rate in the U.S., Bungie has opted to introduce precautionary measures against COVID-19. Quote, while health and safety are our top priority, we also recognize the importance of maintaining continuity of our regular Bungie businesses and operations, and have rapidly built a remote work infrastructure to best support this, said the developer in a blog post. Quote, this includes delivering on our current content plans, the maintenance and upkeep of Destiny 2, as well as continuing development of the game. And so, like, it seems that, yes, like, a lot of video game companies don't necessarily have the infrastructure for it, but as Zelnick kind of alluded to a bit in his last, or in his quote from the last story, it seems that companies are gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Especially like right now, right? As working from home is going to almost be like not a required thing across the board, but more and more companies are doing it. Like we talked about yesterday, Microsoft is doing it. Amazon is also doing it, right? Like a lot of big companies. I know Tim was talking about how G is working from home right now, and you're seeing this more and more and more and more. Mm-hmm. And so like, I could see this having long-term effects in terms of the video games industry kind of figuring that out and remote work not being like a weird thing in most places.
I saw a thing the other day that was, so obviously coronavirus is a problem in Japan. And so a lot of Japanese companies are saying, yeah, work from home. There are very specific, like older Japanese companies that say have a policy that even when you work from home, which is rare to begin with, you still have to wear a suit and tie. So
really,
somebody invented like a Skype,
I get it, man.
Somebody invented like a Skype thing for video calls that makes it look like you're wearing a suit and tie. It's like super glitchy right now, and the GIFs are hilarious of it. But like that's the level we're talking about of how unused to this people are.
Yeah.
Like, okay, when you're at home, you still have to be professional. It's like, no, fuck that. If I'm in my boxers and it's a lucky day, I'm being professional.
Man, Imran, I'm excited to see the future of remote work in the video games industry, but that reality is so far away, or is it? I don't know, man. If I want to know what's coming out to mom and pop shops today, where would I look?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform is listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today, we got Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX for Switch, which I didn't realize that was out so soon.
Yeah.
As soon as today. Go get that if you're a fan of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Murder by Numbers for PC, which I've heard good things about.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I've heard it's gotten really good reviews.
It's
from what I've seen.
Phoenix Wright style Picross game.
Yeah, I kind of want to try it out.
Yeah,
people are talking about it. 60 Seconds for PS4 and Xbox One. Pathologic 2 for PS4.
I've heard really good things about that.
Yeah, I've also heard good things about that. After Party for Switch. Save Coke or Koch or
Coke. I think it would be pronounced Coke.
See, I had a teacher that had, so it's Koch, which I know is a recurring theme on the show that we don't know how to pronounce that. My teacher in high school, a teacher I had in high school, had that spelling, and his name was Mr. Cook.
I know that like the billionaire conservatives are named Coke.
Yes, the Koch brothers.
The owners of THQ Nordic are Koch.
Okay.
So basically, who knows?
What I've always known is Cook, and so who knows? Save Koch.
I think it's just like a regional thing and like where you come from,
really?
Of like how you pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes the most sense to me.
I'm gonna say Cook. Save Cook for Switch. Swordbreaker the Game for Switch. Breeder Homegrown Director's Cut for PS4 and Switch. Smart City Plan for PC. Yes, Your Grace for PC. Bunny Quest for PC. Mythic Escape Diary of a Prisoner for PC and Mac. And then Polygon for PC. The new dates for you. Seren Fate is launching on Steam on March 10th. Now it's time for Reader Mail. You can write into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames where you can get the show ad-free. And speaking of ads, this episode of Kind of Funny Games Daily is brought to you by kindoffunny.com/Patreon. If you've thought about backing Kind of Funny on Patreon so that you can ask us a question or squat up, but have been scared off by how complicated the system seems, worry no more thanks to our sponsor, kindoffunny.com/Patreon. When you go to kindoffunny.com/Patreon, you're given 4 simple choices to decide where you want to go ask your question. Just click away. It's so easy. Greg Miller can do it. It's a burn. It's a burn right there, Greg Miller. But he wrote it, and so it's like a self-burn. Self-burn. Robby Rob writes in to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames and says, "Dear #bless the dawn daily." As the next generation consoles approach, there has been plenty of talk about the Series X and PS5, though let's have a little gander of what the unannounced Project Lockhart might be. Do you think it might be possible that the lower priced Xbox might not be a console at all, but a streaming stick or box like Amazon Fire TV or Google Cast Ultra? Lockhart might be a locket of sorts for streaming xCloud with the ability to use Xbox controller for use. Thanks for all you do in reading this long question, Robby Rob.
So that was the original rumor, and probably what the original plans were, that it was a box with a processor and a GPU in it.
Yeah.
To at least like put out an image, and the processor would kind of predict what your next input would be. Which is like, that's the way stuff like emulators and things like that work.
Yeah.
So Stadia was not super wrong in saying that. They were just saying it in the dumbest way possible.
Yeah, the way they said it made people go like, what the fuck are you saying?
Yeah.
What was the word they used? They said like predictive.
It's going to be so advanced it predicts your next movement.
But they used like some kind of latency term. They were like, it was like
Negative latency.
Negative latency,
yes.
yeah.
Which is like, no, this is a thing that emulators have been doing for years. You're just using a different word for
Yeah.
it. But I don't think they're doing that anymore, but that was definitely kind of where their head was at before. I don't think the industry is ready for that thing yet.
I'm 100% with you. I think they will do this at some point because the idea that you can sell a stick or like a small box for $100 and like, you know, brand that as Xbox, I think it's tantalizing. And I think there is a market for that, but I don't think we're not at that place yet. And I think Phil Spencer and Xbox knows we're not at that place yet.
Yeah.
And so like I think it's going to be some sort of maybe $300-$400 box that is either all digital or lower powered in some way.
I mean, it's like the PSP Go, right? Like, that thing was way ahead of its time, but it was mocked thoroughly because, like, you can't use your UMDs on it.
Yeah.
Why would anyone buy this? Was not far removed from the idea of, oh, just everything's digital now. Like, why would I use a cart?
Yeah.
When I could just have, like, everything on my system at once.
What do you think the Lockhart is going to be? Do you similarly think it's going to be like a lower powered console at this point?
I think I would not be shocked if it's an Xbox One X, basically. But, like, a little different in certain ways, like a better GPU or some things that differ from the Xbox One X. And I think Xbox One X will still sit as an existing way to play those games. But then it'll be like, okay, we're phasing this out slowly, and now the Lockhart is the lowest end version, and then we also have the Series X as well.
Do you then think the Lockhart will come out later, or do you think it comes out at the same time as the Xbox Series X?
I've gone back and forth on it. I think it depends a lot on how expensive the Series X is. If it is over $500, then I think they're going to have to launch with a cheaper version.
That makes sense.
If
I can see that.
Like, if it's like competitively priced though, then yeah, they could wait a couple of months.
A
year maybe.
I'm still sold on the idea that there are going to be two consoles at launch. Though the closer and closer we get, the more and more I'm like, well, if they reveal it, I think they'll probably reveal it at E3. But sirens are on our end. The thing that makes it difficult is that I feel like you kind of want to get that messaging out there about like a new console or new consoles. Wow, those sirens
right
are
up here.
really on our end.
Are we on fire?
Check in the other room. Cool, Greg, are you okay? As we get close to it, the thing that's on my mind is, do they wait for E3 to reveal a second console, or is that something you want to get out there before E3?
My question is more, I think they do have a second console for sure. I think it's in the plans. It's happening. It's as obvious as the Switch Lite was with the Switch.
Yes.
But I wonder if they announce it outright or they hint at it instead. Because like, if you announce that we'll have a cheaper version down the road, do you get people? Are people
just not going to buy the Xbox Series X?
Yeah.
Then?
And like, how much does the cheaper version matter at the end of the day? Like, are people willing to pay? I'd be very curious to know what the breakdown of Xbox One consoles are right now. How many people are buying the X versus
the S?
Yeah.
One S.
Or the Pro versus the regular PS4?
Yeah. Have you heard the 2 SKUs for the PS5 rumor?
I don't think
that was a rumor that floated around last week, and I brought it up very briefly on PS I Love You because we just talk about whatever PlayStation there, and it was a thing that I skipped over because I was like, obviously, like, well, not even obviously, but this isn't a thing that I think is going to happen. Do you think there's a chance that there's 2 PS5s at launch?
At launch?
Yeah,
no.
at launch. No?
I could see different bundles, but that just creates confusion. Of like, you had that kind of thing before, like we had the different hard drive things, but I think if they have like a terabyte hard drive and a 2 terabyte hard drive, maybe. But again, confusion, because then people will be like, well, I didn't get the 2 terabyte one. I'm just not going to get anything right now.
Yeah.
I think they avoid it. I think they go for the simplest answer at launch because it is very possible to confuse your audience. And once you do that, it's very hard to get them back.
Yeah. Especially when you're calling your console the PS5, PlayStation 5, I feel like you start off and you just brand it as that, and you make no confusion. Because once you call it the PlayStation 5 S or PlayStation 4, they wouldn't call it the S, PlayStation 5 Pro at launch, that then muddies the messaging.
On the other hand, like
I think that muddies it less than Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. Because like PS5. And then PS5 Pro makes a very clear statement of like, hey, this is PS5's new hardware. It's the base of like what we want to start this generation. Pro is a little more higher end. I think that's really clear.
I think Xbox is less worried about muddying the waters in terms of that because they don't care about selling the boxes themselves.
Yes.
They care about bringing you into the ecosystem.
They want your service money.
Yeah, they want your service. They want you to get into Xbox no matter where it's at. And so whatever options, like if we were at a place where a streaming box could work like flawlessly and if we were at a place where we were ready for a streaming box, like bet your money there would be a streaming box at launch for Xbox. But I think for PlayStation, they're so focused on selling you on that PS5 box and selling you on the PS5 ecosystem too, but in the sense that like, hey, we're shepherding everybody forward. We're bringing everybody up to the PS5. We're trying to get everybody to buy this box as opposed to Xbox who, they just want people within the brand. I think for PlayStation it muddies the waters too much. In a way, for Xbox, they don't care.
I do think it's interesting that like last generation was launch a little weak in terms of hardware power, and then eventually make a stronger thing mid-generation. This generation, it looks to be the opposite of like we're going to launch strong, and then maybe down the line we'll sell something a little cheaper.
Yeah, like
it seems to me that says they're confident that this generation will continue a bit longer than most generations in terms of like overlap. Because, third-party developers already said, like, we're not going to move on completely for a couple of years. Square Enix outright said it, which is saying the quiet part loud a little bit. I think that phrasing and that strategy is them going, people are still going to use the old systems for a while, so let's get on the people who care about the tech and care about the hardware the most on board early. And then after that, then we'll have the people who only really care about price and playing the new games.
A Qwerk of Fate writes in and says, a recent report by Ben Gilbert at Business Insider suggests that one of the reasons Google Stadia may be struggling to attract some of the... What's up, Kevin? Did Kevin almost trip? What just happened there?
I lost some balance and fell backwards.
Oh.
Like for a half second, it's like, was Kevin drunk? What's happening here?
Kevin walked in and was like, apparently about to just fall over, which isn't a new thing, but still throws me off.
I think it was you bumped the chair on the way back, and that was okay.
I'm glad you're sober.
Yeah.
Finally. Yeah, finally. Let me start that over. A recent report by Ben Gilbert at Business Insider suggests that one of the reasons Google Stadia may be struggling to attract some of the major indie titles is the lack of realistic financial deals being offered to devs. Is this a sign of inexperience with the industry, or could it be the first sign that Google is getting cold feet and may already have chosen not to pursue Stadia in its current form long term?
So the meetings they were talking about with developers were around, I want to say, PAX West last year.
Okay.
I remember talking to developers that were saying like, yeah, we had meetings with Google and they fucking lowballed us. They gave us a number that no other console maker would have given us, like in terms of how low it was.
Yeah.
So I'm not shocked that they're like this information is coming out now. I guess only people now care to talk about it, but.
How do we explain? Because the way I've been kind of explaining it is that to me, it's just that Google is inexperienced in terms of video games, but they have experienced people over there, right? Like they have big name people over there. Is it just that those people aren't involved in those decisions, or like, how do you think this is breaking down that they missed the mark on that?
I think a lot of it's hubris, honestly. Like there's probably people at the executive board of Google that are thinking, we're Google. We're already entrenched in the tech space. Why do we need to spend that much money to get into this console space? And the answer is because you do.
Yeah, it's a different space entirely.
Yeah, and I think there's probably I bet you Phil Harris is begging his bosses to go like, for the love of God, release the purse strings. Let me make more money on this sort of thing, and they're just not letting it. Like God, what was her name? The Sony Santa Monica.
Shannon Sutstill.
Yeah, that she just left to make it. That surprised me
Mm-hmm.
because she must either they're writing her a huge check.
Oh yeah, she's
Or-
getting paid.
Or she must see something amazing at Stadia. So I'm so like, what is our long-term game? Like, what does the first party of Stadia look like? And why are they only building it up now when it should be like built up 2 years ago and then they announced?
Yeah,
It-
we'll see.
It's very strange. And if they don't fix the third-party issue, then none of the rest of that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, there's only so much. Unless you're Nintendo, you can't run a system by yourself. And even then, there's a high chance it fails.
Yeah,
anyway.
even then, like the Wii U was a thing, right? Where there weren't third-party games coming out for that thing. It was just Nintendo and
It had a couple of Nintendo bangers, but
a few.
Yeah.
yeah, but that was not enough.
yeah.
And so now it's time to squad up. Of course, you can write in, get your squad up read when you want to play games with other people. Greg has like all these things memorized in terms of how he explains things, and I have to like write down like the whole scripts, and I don't have a script for this one. And so you know what squad up is. You want to play games with people? Let us know.
When I first
You can play
started,
games with people.
I actually I watched Greg thing and like wrote everything down that he said to like practice that because I figured people would be more used to the way Greg says things.
Yeah.
People were like, no, he's just doing it like Greg does. So just do whatever the fuck you want to do, and
Yeah.
then people will respond to that.
Be you, bless.
Now
Yeah.
it's time to squad up. Fuck it. That's my new intro. Zach writes in and says, "Hey, best friends. As a filthy achievement whore, I'm currently working towards completing my achievement list for Battlefield 1, but low server populations and lack of add-on support makes it difficult to complete the suite of DLC achievements. So, if for whatever reason you are also interested in filling out your Battlefield 1 achievement list, feel free to message me on Xbox at Son of Tomp 8264. You can change your name on Xbox. I'll rent a server. So once again, Zach is Son of Tomp. That's THOMP 8264 on Xbox One. That'll be in the YouTube description once this thing finishes processing 3 days from now. Now it's time for kindafunny.com/you're wrong, where you can write in and let us know what we got wrong during the show if you're watching live. For all the people watching later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and podcast services around the globe. Let's see what we got wrong today.
Somebody did tweet us a "stays gone" image or "stay gone."
Did they really?
Yes.
Can you say, actually,
Yeah, see if you can find that. Put that up because that'll be fun to look at. Robby Rob says, "You said you don't have energy, but you always bring so much energy to the podcast." Thank you, Robby Rob. Wow.
You're wrong. You're great.
I'll take it. Let's see. Working from home. Nintendo just announced that they're working from home as well today. Thank you for that.
Yeah. There's the "stay gone."
Whoa. Sorry. Oh, yeah, staying on. That's awesome. That's great. Y'all are talented.
I hope that Greg sees that and doesn't know the context of it.
Yeah. Yo, Greg might get his feelings hurt if he sees that out of context. Within context is fine, but out of context, Greg might see this and be like, "Oh, well, I quit. I'm going back to IGN."
Not appreciated here.
Breaking news. Wow. Emerald City Comic Con just got postponed to the summer due to coronavirus.
All
That's
these things
wild.
postponing to summer, I don't think they're happening in the summer. I know they're trying to be optimistic, but
That's wild, dude.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
I think the mayor of Seattle and the governor were under a lot of pressure to postpone it anyway.
And then another.
But that's bad for Reed. Reed has to cancel a bunch of stuff now.
That's crazy. Another one. This comes from Denim Co. One extra item for the Corona report. TwitchCon Europe in Amsterdam has been canceled.
They also canceled the Pokemon tournament as well.
Oh, I think I might have saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then okay, it's not a you're wrong. I don't think there's any actual like you're wrongs. Oh wait, no, this was from yesterday.
Coke is pronounced like Coke in America. The pronunciation for Coke Media is not cock. It's caw with a phlegmy at the end.
Koch.
Glad to do that directly to a microphone. I hope
Yeah,
you podcast
people are gonna
listeners
love
prefer
that. But it looks like there's like no actual you're wrongs, and so. But thank you for all the info. Actually, hold on. I'm just trying to make sure. Okay, well that's not a you're wrong.
People on Twitter have reactions to you not seeing movies.
Which movie? Oh, the Pixar movies.
Yes.
Like all the movies, bless.
Whatever, man. I'll
fucking watch the movie.
Once I finish the show, I'm gonna go to the next room, pick up my phone, and see all the notifications.
Belinda
So-
Garcia says it's affecting our friendship.
Is it affecting our friendship?
That's what she
Because
says.
we just watched the freaking.
What movie did you not watch?
Coco.
Huh?
He hasn't
Coco.
seen any
Oh,
Pixar
it's
movies in the
pretty
last.
good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd like it.
Even Kevin
I
likes it.
probably. I mean, everybody loves Coco. I just haven't seen Pixar movies really.
Oh.
Within the last like 5 years, I saw
They're on
Incredibles
Disney
2.
Plus.
That's a good idea. But also, like, I feel like Pixar movies, they're so beautiful and detailed that I want to see them in the theater. Once they're gone from the theater, it's like, why even bother?
No, that's stupid.
Legend of
No,
Darby
yeah, that's
says,
a stupid
Yeah,
idea.
That's a stupid idea.
same blessing, not seeing Tangled has ruined me.
Is that Darby?
Yes.
Listen,
Tangled is good, dude.
Tangled is really
I don't
good.
need to watch all these Pixar movies.
You
They
do,
put out,
though.
I know you've seen one Pixar movie, you've seen them all. They make you
But
cry
Tangled
every time.
isn't
They're
fucking
beautiful.
Pixar, dude. Tangled is Disney proper, and I'll tell you, this is another high school bear getting high and doing stuff with his high school friends. We saw Tangled in the theaters
What do you mean by
really
doing
high,
stuff?
Yeah, what do you mean by doing stuff with your high school friends?
getting high, and like going out and watching movies and
For
playing video
context,
games.
this
and
is
shit.
you were also in high school at this point.
Yeah. And so we saw Tangled really high in theaters, and it was fucking awesome. It was really good.
There's a, I'm
And
trying
I've
to think what
seen it-
joke I
I've
can
seen
make in
it
terms
so-
of getting high and
sober.
getting tangled.
I've seen it sober since then, and it's still really good.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What's the
I wanted to
point?
be on the box. Saw it high, great. Sober, also great.
Also great. What's the point of seeing a 3D animated movie after Shrek? Because they're not as good.
Okay.
No 3D animated movie is gonna be as good as Shrek.
I
You agree?
you had me in the like you. I was upset in the first part of the sentence.
But you understand what I'm
and
saying.
Then
It
you
was
said
one of those
Shrek,
things where it's
and
like-
now I'm kind of on your side now.
Dude,
boy.
as a kid,
I
this is
fucking
what
get it,
this was.
dude.
This was what I was telling Belinda when I was explaining to her that I've not seen many Pixar movies lately. Is that as a kid, I saw Shrek, and even as a kid, like 7 years old, I was like, "Fuck, that movie is great. That movie was amazing." Like, I've not seen a movie that good in a minute. And I was only 7 years old.
Shrek is really good. Man.
Shrek, and people meme it to death, but like, and I haven't seen Shrek in a minute, and so maybe like,
No, it's good
Is it
stuff.
still good?
Yeah.
Okay,
The
yeah.
problem with Shrek is all the sequels, some of which are okay.
Shrek 2?
yeah,
Shrek 2 is
Shrek 2
fine.
is solid.
Yeah.
Shrek the third,
Ever
No.
After?
not good.
No.
I never
I think
saw
after
Puss in Boots.
Shrek 2, you're good. Like, after that, you don't
Puss
need
in Boots
anymore.
was solid. Shrek 4, I remember taking my little sister,
Ever After.
and she was
Oh,
like,
I did see Shrek 4. Shrek Forever Ever After.
yeah.
Right?
She was
I
like
don't think
4 or
it's Forever,
5
it's
when I
just
took
Shrek
her.
Ever After.
For 4? Hold on, I'm looking this up. I think
Did
it's
you
Shrek
know
Forever
there's
Ever
a
After.
Beat Saber
Is
level?
this the post show? Are
No.
we doing
No.
a post show right
No.
now?
This is
So the
this,
main-
this is your
Christ.
wrong.
Okay,
Wrap up
hold
the
on.
show, guys.
Hold
It's,
on.
it's Shrek Forever After.
That's
I just
the
looked it
4th
up.
one.
Did-
Yeah.
Ever After.
Yeah, because the
Ever
four
After.
pun.
Ever After.
Yeah.
Shrek 4. Is Kevin trying to be Kevin right now? Is this what you guys are talking about?
Wrap up the show.
Imran's trying to say something.
Yeah, did you know there's a Beat Saber level that's just the Shrek movie? Like, the entire first Shrek movie?
Is this like a modded thing?
Yes.
What?
That's awesome.
It's a fan track, but it's like literally just you play through the entirety of the Shrek movie in Beat Saber.
That's awesome. Before I wrap up, I saw a trailer for a new Minions movie. And let me tell you guys, I'm very excited about this new Minions movie. It looks really good. It's Minions.
Baby Groot, right?
Yeah, it's Baby Gru. I think
Groot.
Gru, yeah.
Groot, not Groot.
Baby Gru was a thing. It was
It's
incredible.
Minions 2.
Is
The
it Minions
Rise of
2?
Gru or
The Rise
something.
of Gru.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
They're just cross-contaminating
Which
now.
I've
Like, they're
only
not
s-
separate anymore.
I've only seen the first
No, they
Despicable
weren't.
Me.
They started together.
Yeah, I know, but
It
like,
was
didn't they like
Despicable
then
Me.
spun the Minions off into its own like thing?
Which was a prequel that tells the story before they meet Gru.
But I think
Yeah.
it's more like a.
My question is, why is this not a Despicable Me movie?
because of branding.
Okay.
They found a way to like get the branding on point because Minions blew up.
All right, wrap it up.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap
This is
up.
the post
Next
show.
week's hosts are next week's hosts. You found me. You figured me out. Next week's hosts are Monday is Greg and Tim. Tuesday is me and Imran. Wednesday is Greg and Gary Witta. Thursday is Greg and me, and then Friday is Greg and me. Greg's back, everybody. Hooray!
Stay gone.
Of course, this has been. Yeah, he's been. Of course, this has been Kind of Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday live right here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. We have a Patreon post show for those that are subbed at the silver level of patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, so stick around for that. Otherwise, until next time, Game Daily.